Hi Leo. I start the cat video and a dog barks. Dogs never bark around here. It's so strange. Such feline energy. So, a virtual test going on in the back as the Leo rising plays the game. I would like to ask you a question, Leo. Do companies who are looking for a certain type of employee go running up to people on the street and ask random people to take their equivalency tests or hand in their resume? No. Do colleges run up to random people on the street and ask them to take exams? No. Tests are usually reserved for those who are, it is implied by the test, being prepared for something. That wasn't even for effect. I'm just clearing my throat. So when we feel like we have been tested in an extreme way, when we feel like the test is almost apocalyptic, what job could we be applying for? What could the test be in preparation for? Well, from the looks of it, it's love. But I think it's a love that pulls you out of the Nine of Swords energy. And I don't think that love has to do with another person, ever. That's just my opinion. I think for a long time we think it does. And then that person inevitably... What's going on with my voice? Wow, you guys are upset, huh? That person inevitably does something to disappoint you because they can't. Ultimately, no one can be the Ace of Cups for you. You have to be it for yourself. And so when any person proves to you that they can't in fact be your reason for living, no matter how much you love them or they love you, they seem to fall short. We ultimately all come back to the truth that the Ace of Cups and the only person that's ever going to remove us from the Nine of Wands energy is us. And you may say to yourself, but I've been waiting a long time and I feel like I've been patient and I feel like I've really put in an effort and the sun is not showing up. It will. It is. But it's kind of hard to see when in the part of your mind that needs the sun, you have made some really stubborn decisions on how you think it always has to be. You may not realize that you feel this way. You may not realize that you've made these suppositions about your life or your love life, but you have. You've decided things that keep those curtains closed and keeps the sun out. And yes, that would make it seem like a very long time to have to wait. Then I suppose the question becomes, what is it that can finally open the shades and let the sun in? Well, here it looks like someone approaching with a cup, but the cup has, like I said, less to do with the relationship and more to do with, bottom of the deck, Five of Cups, what you are finally... I don't want to say realizing. Yeah. See, it's more feeling. The Nine of Swords to the Nine of Cups is just super healthy. It's that place where we reach a rock bottom of sorts, and then we realize that we don't really need anyone but ourselves. And having another person, 10 of Cups, is great, but not necessary. And as we know, the universe tends to be very generous with anything that you ask for pretty lightly and don't hang on to tightly. Good. Page of Wands underneath the Wheel of Fortune. You'll be all right. Not only will you be all right, you'll be more than okay. Of course, it is a full moon today, tonight, and it is very emotional, especially for you. It has been a test. It has been a journey. It has been a test through which you have had to show great tenacity, not on the outside, but inside. You have had to again and again and again find that place within yourself where you can bear the pain and you can still, like a functioning pain-aholic, a functioning masochist. Ooh. That's scary. Yeah. Yeah, someone who can not only endure the pain, but on some level must like it for it to continue for so long. And being able to high function through it, you know, look good, smell good, appear to feel good, more importantly, be able to make other people feel good so nobody seems to notice. And now that part of you that you're not open to talking about, that part of you underneath that, is someone is handing that part of you that's sitting alone in the dark, Nine of Swords, a cup. And it's so overwhelming. And not someone that could be, like, what I mean is someone as in the universe you experience as your friend. Something happens in January that hands you that cup to the part of yourself that's in the dark room, and you go from the Nine of Swords to the Nine of Cups. And all the Eight of Pentacles have been waiting so long turns into the Sun, which is, come on, Leo, like, come on. So you have the yellow of the Nine of Cups, the yellow of the Sun, the yellow of the Wheel of Fortune. Boom. And then Page of Wands. We love the Page of Wands for you. It's when you're feeling your best, when you don't have the burdens on your shoulders. You're just being you. And then the Five of Pentacles, 10 of Swords, and the Tower. So, are the things that have kept you in the mental prison, are the things that you realize that the tests, and is it all going to be brought back up before the Wheel of Fortune stuff starts happening? Sure. The test is always, you know, proportionate to the benefit that you receive from it. You know, it's to prove that you can handle the thing. And here, bottom of the deck, the Hermit. So if it has to do with a Virgo, specifically, that's falling apart in so many ways that it's hard to explain without going into, like, watch the Virgo reading. That's the only thing I can say. I'm a little thrown by it just because it's a bit extreme, but I think it's for those of you who are having trouble and will choose to remain through the new year in the Nine of Swords energy. Because for the rest of you, it's just so positive, you know? Like, if you're able to, in whatever fashion the Ace of Cups comes to you, if you're able to receive it, and let in the light into the Nine of Swords. Whatever the issue is in your head that you're going over and over and over again, where you feel like you're sitting in that dark room alone, if you let someone, something, an idea, a ray of enthusiasm, a song, a new exercise routine, anything, if you let that cup be extended to you, even if it is you extending it to you, if you let yourself be kind to the part of yourself that is essentially really, really weak right now. Ooh, you hate that word. I'm surprised it didn't freeze. The Nine of Swords, it's hard for you to confront, and you do the functioning masochism thing because you don't like to admit the Nine of Swords, and no animal does. I think I've told you this before, that in the wild, the alpha chimpanzee or alpha ape will go and hide in the jungle until his wounds are healed, because he can't afford to be seen wounded, even if he's healing and even though he's still very much in control. It's just the optics are bad. So I understand why it's very important to keep the Nine of Swords energy as hidden as possible, but you have to also consider that the more you hide it, regardless of your reasoning for it, even if it is to make other people more comfortable, to make yourself more accessible, to make yourself more helpful to them, more available to them. I get it. I get that it's not out of a sense of vanity. The sun doesn't shine because it likes to see itself shine. I get it, but you have to understand that the more you push that side of yourself in, regardless of the reasoning, the harder it is for that light to get to you, regardless of how or why it got there. It becomes that much harder for you to access later, even if you're the one that put it there. So for something, Ace of Cups, to get to that place within you that you have really suppressed, to the point where you may be like, but I'm not even upset about anything. Okay. But first, for it to extend the cup to you, it only makes sense that it would have to be brought up, because if it's so deep and so internal and so put away, you may need some sort of cataclysmic, tower moment to even address where it is for the cup to be offered. But ultimately, with the Sun and the Wheel of Fortune and the Page of Wands there, I don't think it's worrisome. If it is with the Virgo, I think that relationship might be ending. And that's, that's sad. But it also seems like it wasn't very healthy for you. So, yeah, let's see. We have quite some cards on the table already. Let's shuffle for some outcome. Now, what kind of test could it be that's so extreme as to need the Tower moment? Well, for a lot of you, I think coming to terms with whatever that Nine of Swords is just, it's terrifyingly difficult, even though it may be obvious to you and everyone around you and everyone knows it, but you just can't. It's about how you're seen. You just have a lot of trouble not being seen well. It's like you feel guilty for having like a sunspot. Like, you feel guilty when you can't shine your radiance completely and fully. You feel out. It not just hurts your pride, not just hurts your ego, it hurts your sense of being useful. Like, you don't like to appear wrong. And so that unwillingness, Knight of Wands in reverse, to appear that way has just locked you. Again, the fixed sign trap has locked you into stagnation. And I think ultimately the Nine of Swords is about stagnation in some part of your life where you just feel like it's not moving. And if you examine it closely, especially tonight, especially now, I think what you'll find is that you need some Tower moments. You need to hit that real, like, Ten of Swords rock bottom and address how miserable either things are or were, And if that's not the case, then moving forward, be careful with the Virgos in your life because they're going through a hard time. If you don't care about love at all, even though Ace of Cups is the first thing out, let's talk about money. And then we'll talk about cross-watching and the scalding hot tea. So in terms of money, it's good, but I also don't think you should make any emotional decisions because you don't seem like you're emotionally ready for any big decisions right now. So just wait like 2 weeks. Something you've been working on for a while all of a sudden goes boom and you're very, very happy about it. Boom in a good way. And it's great. So, and it froze. In terms of working with anyone who has that Virgo energy or that Hermit energy, be careful because their luck is kind of spiraling. It will spiral back up, but in terms of money, communication. Your communication could get a little bit weird in terms of your work colleagues and your boundaries. Don't say anything to people in or around work that is more on a friendly vibe. Just leave people be. Don't say much to anyone, actually. Being jokey and like trying to do like a charming, maybe walk the line or close to the line or anything. You're gonna get taken the wrong way and it's not even your fault. Just watch how you're communicating. As in, don't say too much. Don't be too bold. Like in the way you talk to people. Be bold in your ideas and things, but don't be too bold in terms of offering your opinion or just extra posting, you know, like all that. We don't need to be doing that. Now, for someone who is interested in a Leo, is being ghosted by a Leo, doesn't know what to do about a Leo, does this Leo like me, do they not like me? I think they'd like to like you. I think they probably need a bit of like a mystic ooh ah ah moment from the universe before they'll be like, hey, I think I like this person. So you should probably wait on them to come out of the Nine of Swords energy before you start to reach out to them. Around the 3rd week of January, they'll be in a really good mood if you feel like reaching out. If you're a Virgo and going through major life crises, probably better to leave people alone who are trying to get their lives together. But if you really need them in your life and you love them and you're going through major life crises, telling them about it is going to turn them around as well and make them feel like they're going through it with you, and that's going to throw them off their game. It's going to throw them off work. It's going to throw them off everything. So you always have that option. What you should be doing, Leo, right now is working, minding your business, and waiting for that karma to hit. But we've been waiting for so long. I know how you feel. It's here. It's just really, really, really depends on how dark these shades are and how dark you insist on continuing to make them by who you let in. Ooh. Okay, let's look at these cards. Love you. Be right back.
Hi, Leo. The sun is shining. I'm so glad I waited. So you got the nighttime fireside vibes, and now you get the sun shining on Christmas Eve. I'll try to shake this table as little as possible. So this reminds me of our old school readings. When I first started, we were doing really big readings like this. And I think part of the reason the readings were so big, it's like when you first start getting lymphatic massage, it's just like very gunky at first, and then you have to like go consistently and you start to feel this flow within your lymph system because it's not so clogged, right? Or same thing happens when you start with veganism or with vegetarianism. You start to feel the lymphatic system flow, and at first it's really uncomfortable because first you have to recognize the block and go through that uncomfortable period of unblocking and perhaps dissolving things along the way, because that's what's required. There has to be a push of the gunk out before that flow can really benefit you and really, you know, do what it's designed to do. And that's what the Ace of Cups and the Sun looks like to me, is you getting back to you doing what you are designed by nature to do. It is in your nature to win. It is in your nature to shine. It is in your nature to love. But it's also in your nature to push through to get there. There is a determined quality to Leo that has to do with the fixed nature. It has to do with the stubbornness. You know, stubbornness isn't always immobility. Sometimes stubbornness can be the thing that gives you the drive, you know, that makes you very mobile. Depends on how you use it. And this is what I mean about you getting the nighttime fireside vibes and the sun vibes. The nighttime vibes, you know, whenever there's a nighttime video, be it yours this time or anyone's, it's because there is something internal in the subconscious that we're trying to bring to the light. And the subconscious is just easier to connect with in the dark because it in and of itself, its nature is in the dark, right? But with the light, with the sun, and this now today, the days start to get longer, right? Or the days have started to get longer for a couple of days now. With the sun, with the light comes a different kind of understanding. Perhaps not one of the subconscious, but how to take what we glean in the subconscious work and make it practical and do in the conscious with it. To manifest, to make real with the light of the sun. You want to get more technical about it, to configure those light photons the way you want them to be, also called matter, right? So everything ultimately coming from light, therefore everything ultimately coming from the sun, not as something to be worshipped, but something to certainly be adored, something to be connected with. From my own personal heritage, I can tell you, as someone who is Kshatriya born, the Rajput claim to be people of the sun. That they not that they associate with the sun, they literally claim that they came from the sun. They came through the sun like a portal. Came from somewhere through the sun, the people of the sun. So you now get to see how everything we talked about last night is really going to play out. What's your role in this now? How do you manifest this? How do you arrange this light in your life now and moving forward? Because it's not just about January, right? January, and you may instinctively know this already, especially if you're here or here, January is just a rehearsal dinner for the next year. That's all that is. Okay? So it's really important to get it right. So when you step out onto that stage for the rest of the year, you have all your lines, you have all your outfit changes, you have all, you see what I'm saying? You work it out in January to, you know, in a new way to get through the next year the way you want to. Now, I really don't think this is you as much as this is you taking on other people's things. However, if it's not, if this is you getting out of this situation is probably something that everyone around you has been praying for. And the only person getting turned around by it is you. Everyone else seems to think that this is like a gift from God. And with a little, and I understand a lot of work and time has been put into it, but with a little bit of contemplation and a little distance, you will see, with a little balancing out of the heart and mind, you will see that regardless of how it makes you feel in the moment, it's better than anything is better than this never changing. So the fact that these cards are here, but then the huge change comes, don't think of these as all similar just because they have similar coloring. Two of these are a dead end. One of them literally. And being with the wrong person is a dead end. We know that, right? Especially, these are pentacles, especially financially. There is nothing quite like a bad relationship with a person who is not right for you to drain your bank account. I know you know this. Male or female, it doesn't matter. When you settle, it definitely affects your bank account. Because you're not just settling in terms of this is the person that I'm going to be sleeping with. You're settling in all kinds of ways, and you know it. This is very different. The Tower is not a dead end. Regardless of how it may seem or how it may look, or the fear, the dread you may feel when you see it, it is not a dead end. To me, I'll tell you what, but this is just a Gemini. That looks a lot scarier to me than that. Hey, if those two people can't stand each other, at least they're far away from each other as they're falling out. You know what I'm saying? At least they got some distance from each other. Because if I can't stand someone, this is welcome. At least I'm all the way over here and you're all the way over there. Because this right here, miserable together forever, no thank you. No thanks. And I really think that right now the universe is echoing my sentiment of this is better than whatever you think that you're getting out of staying in something that obviously doesn't work. It's all this good stuff is trying to get to you, right? But you're stuck on certain things. The sadness of it, why didn't it go the way I wanted? The amount of time and effort that was put into it, perhaps ignoring the whole thing like it's not even happening. And yet under the surface, there is the pain of the thing that didn't work out and the shock of it not working out still reverberating, or the shock of it now not working out beginning to reverberate. Somehow it's coming back up and it mirrors something that's happened before. Not in a Mercury retrograde way. It's not like that. It's not about the actual past coming up. It's like something within it has the seed of something that, really it touches this wound. Boom. I did it again yesterday. If you've been on my lives, you know this. My son has talked about it. My ex-husband talks about it. Everyone talks about this. I have this uncanny ability. I don't know why or how. I never know I'm doing it. I swear to God. But if you have an injury, especially if I don't know about it, I don't have to know about it at all. 99% of the time, I have no idea what I'm doing and that you have an injury. But if you have an injury and you're around me, somehow, some way, don't know how it happens, I will end up hitting you right where you got injured. It could be the most remote injury that you think no one's ever going to hit me here. I don't have to tell anyone that I'm injured here, because who's going to kick me in the back of the leg in this one particular spot randomly? No one would ever do that. I will do it. I will do it. It's the most random, every single time. And so what I've realized very recently is that I have to get a lot more careful about when I touch people, because I think my hand instinctively goes to where someone is injured. However, most of the time when I touch people, it's because I'm being playful and kind of aggressive with them, but I don't realize that my hand is magnetically going to wherever they're injured. You see what I'm saying? So I end up haha, I'm play fighting, but then I end up hitting you right where you have a terrible injury, and you're like, yo, why would you do that? It's oh my God, I don't know. Why would you punch me right in the shoulder like that? Oh my God, I have no idea. I was just playing. I'm sorry. So in the same way, injury, right? You may not know you have an injury because it's a spot that doesn't get touched. It's a spot that you've been able to polish and put away, but that polish is coming off. And there's someone around, like me, who just boop, hits you right in that spot. And you're like, yo, ow, what are you doing? That's very, very hurtful. But up here, you were acting like nothing was even wrong and nothing was even bothering you. But for some of you, you very aware, very connected, and you've been very, very, very emotional. Well, that's okay. Also, crying is also good for the lymphatic system. Just, moisturize, argan oil around the eyes. No, there's no need to ruin the skin around your eyes just because you're having an emotional week because the moon is in Cancer. Let's just be practical. You still got to take care of your skin. Wash your face because tears are drying. Tone, put some, mist some rose water. Do the things you got to do. I know we're talking about how the facade has to come off, but skincare is not a facade, right? I'm not saying go do your makeup and your hair and go run around outside and go to the club. That's not what I mean. I just mean that even if you are going through an emotional up and down and things are changing, first of all, this is life. This is what happens, right? The wave goes up and the wave goes down. It will go back up. I know right now you guys don't feel like it will, but when it goes back up, you will be glad if you had the oil on around your eyes and your eyes are looking nice, even though you were crying all last week. That's all I'm saying. It's little Virgo moon practical advice. Because this happens. I know when you're in it, and especially as a Leo, you feel it and you're like, but this is life. No, it's not. Life is up and down. It is. And by the end of January, you will reach this point yourself. A lot of the times when I say things to Leos, to Aquarians, even to Taurus and Scorpio, a lot of the times when I speak, I'm speaking from this place, and it can be really irritating to fixed signs to be spoken to from this place. Because the nature of a fixed sign is to be so in it as to miss what's behind the duality. So in it that you miss the singularity behind the dual. So you can theoretically understand that the wave goes up and down and everything, you know, in measure is black and white. But it irritates you to be told it, because although you can understand this, you're not in it. You're in the down of the wave or the up. You're in the crest or the trough. You know that. You feel it. You feel it, right? And so when someone says to you from a place that seems really unfeeling, let's be honest. This is not like someone you run up to and hug and who's going to kiss you all over and be like, oh my God, I love you. This is someone you like walk into the temple and you see, and they're sitting all the way behind the pillars, and you're like, and behind the moon, you know, and you're like, do you? Hello, all the way from over here. No, I'm all right. I'm all right. I don't need to come over. You know, this is not someone who is feeling in the moment. And the fixed signs can really identify their personalities as someone who feels. Probably Virgo. Well, no, because Taurus is the same and Scorpio is the same, and also Aquarius is the same, but they feel about the theoretical. So it's easier for them to get to the High Priestess, to be honest. For you, it's much more difficult. They have it easier on this particular polarity, right? So, as difficult as it is, by the end of the month, there are a few key things that happen that get you here. And we need you here because of what's coming up for the rest of the year, okay? And I'll get into that in a second. First, you have this like hit rock bottom kind of emotionally moment, and then, okay, wait, I think I understand. And then this light, when it illuminates, and you realize, the cup is here, I'm here, the luck is here, here's me, without obligation or guilt or shame. This is what I've been doing. I've been pretending like everything is great, and inside I'm all turned around, but now I get to say the truth and speak the truth, and people around me are speaking the truth and saying the truth, perhaps because the tower moment happened, freed everybody up to be who they really are. And although the fixed nature in me wants to keep working at the thing and wants to keep putting merit into the work that's there, the High Priestess comes in and says, it doesn't matter. If it's bad for you, it's bad for you, period. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it looks like the crest or the trough of the wave. Doesn't matter. What's true is true, and that's it. And that's the point you get to by the end of January, and it's exciting as fuck. I think 2019 is finally going to be the year that you guys have been waiting for. The change that you've longed for, and yet you're just stagnant, fixed nature sometimes, like the way you can get stubborn about stuff is just really, you fought it all of 2018. And I think finally 2019 is the storm you've been waiting for. In the I Ching, it says, in a time of drought, even a wild storm is preferable to nothing. Boom. Happy 2019, Leo! I'm going to do your extended right now. We just go through bit by bit and clarify all the cards. It's fun! I'll see you there. There's also a subscription page, so you can subscribe monthly to the extendeds and just get like for every sign, there's a subscription page now. So you can just go and subscribe, and then when the extended is out, it just notifies you. And then you can stream it, download it, have it for later, save it, whatever. Okay? Loves yous. See you in the extended in just a minute.